In this video, I'm going to show you how to make these cool cowboy boots. They are boot covers that you put on an existing pair of boots. They lace up in the back and they are adjustable. I'm going to show you how to make these, and they were so fun to do. I hope that you'll try this. You're going to start by putting on the shoe in which you're going to use for your cover. So in this case, I've got a pair of old boots that are kind of getting a little worn, but I like the toe. So these are the ones that I'm going to use use my pattern for. I'm going to pull up my pant leg. And you're going to just take a scrap piece of fabric and you're going to wrap the fabric around your leg and make sure it's long enough to cover over the toe. And what you'll do is you'll just pin it in place to fit the toe, and then you'll cut it out. Here is my piece of fabric, and let me show you what I did. I wrapped it around, then I pinned it in place, and I'll just keep pinning this all the way down. So you see I have the fabric pinned in place, and this is where I'm going to actually stitch my seam because I want the back of it to lace up. But as you see how it already looks like a boot, I laid my fabric down on my shoe and I just traced it out and then cut that out. So this will become the pattern. So I'm going to take the pins out and now I'm going to cut out my fabric. Now this is the pattern for our boot cover, and as you see it's beginning to kind of look like a boot. Now it really does. See, this is the back side here and this is the front of the boot. Now for the fabric that I'm using for my boot cover, I went to a local department store and I found this cute snake skin. It's like a, I don't know what you call it. It's like a little dress, a house dress. And I got a large size. It says one size fit all, but it's like a size 22. It's really large. And so I'm using this as the pattern, as the fabric for my boot. So I'm going to cut two of my pattern for my boot. I'm going to cut two of these out of this fabric. So I've cut out my two pieces for my boot cover, and what I did is I went ahead and applied a layer of interfacing to give my boot some stability. I'm going to take, this is some leftover upholstery fabric. They're the swatches, the samples that, you know, the stores have that they throw away, but it's really thick. So I'm going to use it as an underliner to make my boot a little thicker or stiffer. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these out here, and I'm going to treat this as one fabric. So I've cut out my underlayer, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some bonding web or stitch witchery because I want these to be as one fabric, and I'm going to iron. I'm going to put some stitch witchery, lay it down so that I can iron this down and they stick together, and that way I can work with it as one fabric. I want you to see how I layered my interfacing. I just put strips across all the way up because I want to make sure this adheres and stays in place throughout the whole cover from top to bottom. So now I just lay my back piece on top and then iron it all down. So I've ironed in the batting. I've got the backing on it, and it's really thick now. It's nice and firm, and it's going to make a very nice boot. So now I'm ready to start attaching or start building the boot. For the inside of the boot, I'm using a black pillowcase. I'm going to split the pillowcase open, and I'm going to use this as a liner for my boot cover. So this is my liner piece that's going to go on the inside of my boot. Now I'm preparing to make the decorative portion of my boot. So what I have done is I just got a piece of paper and I traced out my boot pattern onto the paper. So what I want to do now is I want to draw my design, because here's my photo of my boot, which I'm not that good of a drawer, but this gives me an idea of what I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make my design that, you know, whatever I want on the boots. So I sketched out my design for the front of my boot. I also took and found a design I liked online. I just looked at a couple of boots and got a couple of things that I like. And I just drew out this little pattern. So I'm going to take this and do this in black or either brown, depending. I think I might do it in black. And then I'm going to insert that on the outside of the side of the boot. I'm going to take this piece. Now that I've got this done, I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. And I'm going to cut it out a little bit bigger than what I really wanted. So then I've got this cut out. I'm going to show you what it looks like. And see, when I put that on my boot, as you can see, you see my boot beginning to take shape. So I've got my black fabric that I'm going to use to put on the bottom of my boot. So I decided to do black. So what I'm going to do is cut this out. But before I cut it out, I'm going to take some Wonder Under. And it's like a double-sided Pellon. And I'm going to go ahead and iron it into both of these pieces before I cut this out, because it'll make it easier to cut all the pieces together. I've got my Wonder Under ironed in on the wrong side of my fabric. So I'm simply going to take a pen and I'm just going to trace it out. It doesn't have to be perfect because you're going to end up cutting this later. Now I've got it drawn out. So now I'm just going to cut out my pattern. So my pieces are cut out. So what you want to do is remove the backing. So you just remove the paper. And see, now you have your iron-on piece, and you're going to lay this down on your fabric and iron it down. I want to show you a trick for removing the backing of Wonder Under, because if you iron it in real good, it's really hard to peel it and get it started. Take a straight pin and just scratch through the fabric, or the fabric on the back, the paper, and you put a hole in it, and that way you can start to peel away. And that makes it so much easier than trying to find your corners. And you just peel it away like that. Now you're going to take your pieces with the glue side down, and you're going to lay it on the wrong side of your boot cover, and then you're going to iron this down in place.